5 years ago, because of my hypnosis error, Jason Chen's dream girl, Vivian, lost all her memories. I became the sinner, and every day I had to endure malicious hypnotic treatments from the hypnotists Jason Chen hired. If it weren't for you, how could Vivian have lost her memory? How could she forget me? And how could she leave me and go abroad? I was tortured beyond recognition, mentally broken, and knelt down, begging him to stop the hypnosis. But he grabbed my neck, his voice hoarse. "This is what you owe me, what you owe Vivian. You caused us to separate. You don't deserve to beg for mercy." I completely gave up. I hypnotized myself, forgetting everything about Jason Chen. Later, on my wedding day, he jumped from the 18th floor right in front of me. When I regained consciousness, my body was still trembling uncontrollably. Meeting Jason Chen's deep gaze, I suppressed the stinging pain in my brain and croaked, "Just kill me." Hearing this, his eyes flickered. Then, holding a cigarette, he sneered, "Want to die? You don't deserve it. You haven't atoned for your sins yet. What makes you think you can escape with death?" I looked at him calmly, my eyes were like a still, stagnant pool. But he seemed to have lost his mind, suddenly stepping forward and grabbing my neck. His eyes were filled with intense anger. "What right do you have to die? You caused Vivian and me to separate. You caused her to lose her memory and forget me. This is all the retribution you deserve." I smiled bitterly, a dense, tingling pain spreading through my heart. Tears streamed down my face, large drops rolling into my hair. Yes, all of this was my retribution. 5 years ago, Vivian was almost raped and had nightmares every night. Her boyfriend, Jason Chen, suggested that I hypnotize Vivian to forget that night. I hesitated, knowing there were uncontrollable risks. But Jason Chen held me and pleaded, "Lynn, after this is over, I promise I won't contact Vivian again, okay? I only treat her like a sister. After we get married, isn't she your sister too?" Unable to resist him, I agreed. Everything went smoothly. But when Vivian woke up, she had forgotten everyone. When Jason Chen tried to hug her, she screamed, ran away, and secretly fled the country. Jason Chen blamed it all on me. "You did it on purpose, didn't you? You knew I only saw Vivian as a sister. Why did you deliberately tamper with things to erase all her memories? How could you be so cruel?" I tried to explain, but he wouldn't listen. "You're still trying to argue. I clearly promised to marry you. Why did you do this to Vivian? She's innocent. Don't you have any sympathy?" The last time, he didn't bring Vivian back, and even learned that Vivian was getting married. He went crazy. He imprisoned me, revoked my medical license, and destroyed all my achievements in the industry. Every day, he brought in different hypnotists to hypnotize me to varying degrees. For 5 whole years. I couldn't distinguish between reality and dreams, and I was almost driven mad. My thoughts returned to the present, and Jason Chen suddenly pushed me away. "Lynn, still not admitting it? You didn't think that clearing Vivian's memory and driving her away would make me fall in love with you, did you? You're dreaming. That will never happen. I will never like a vicious, scheming woman like you in this lifetime. I can't stand even looking at you." I tugged at my pale lips, my heart aching to the point of numbness. "Jason Chen, I regret it. I shouldn't have fallen in love with you." I stared blankly at the ceiling, muttering to myself, "I confess." Jason Chen was stunned, looking at me with a somewhat obscure expression. But I didn't care, repeating wearily, "I confess, I harmed Vivian, I plead guilty." "Jason Chen, can you kill me now?" With a loud bang, Jason Chen didn't say a word, turning and leaving in a hurry. Only when the room was completely quiet did I succumb to the stabbing pain in my brain. "Curling you." pee and clutching my head tightly. All these years. Living is no better than dying. Later that night, I developed a high fever and woke up in the hospital. Jason Chin was sitting by my bed, not knowing how long he had been there, with faint dark circles under his eyes. Why didn't you say anything? I was a little puzzled. He wasn't angry either, speaking in a hoarse voice. Why didn't you tell me you had a fever? Did you want to die that badly? Lynn, you haven't atoned for your sins yet. What makes you think you can die? I stared at him blankly, but I saw a flash of concern in his eyes. Before that incident, he used to care about me too. Because of my work, I often had to travel and work overtime, sometimes so busy that I had to rush to a patient's home overnight. He felt sorry that I couldn't sleep well. Why don't you quit your job, Lynn? I can support you. We're getting married soon. You don't have to work so hard. It breaks my heart. I refused. But he started accompanying me on house calls, staying up late, and learning to make chicken soup. If I'm with Lynn, Lynn will feel better. You work so hard, it's not fair for me to sleep peacefully. Remember, no matter how late you work, I'll be home waiting for you. You're not alone. Once, I had a fever again, but a patient was in critical condition. I didn't have time to take medicine or tell Jason Chin before rushing out of the home. After the patient stabilized, I fainted on the road because of the high fever. Jason Chin searched for me step by step all night, saving my life. When I woke up, he cried, "Lynn, do you know how scared I was? I was so afraid of not finding you. Why are you so silly? Are you going to risk your life for others? What am I supposed to do if something happens to you?" I had never felt that two hearts could be so close. I also thought that we would love each other like that for the rest of our lives. Even our friends who weren't optimistic about us had to admit that he really loved me. But I forgot. People's hearts change easily. By the time I realized it, I was already deep in the mire. Thinking of this, I looked out the window, my voice calm. It would be better to die. Why didn't you just let me die from the illness? That year I fainted on the side of the road with a fever. I wish you hadn't found me and just let me die that day. It would be better than being alive and suffering now. Jason Chen's face darkened instantly, his voice cold. Lynn, I said, you don't deserve to die. You haven't finished atoning for your sins. Why should you die? I want you to live and suffer. I want you to regret everything you did to Vivian. My expression didn't change. I even smiled. Yeah, whatever. 3. Jason Chin didn't know what got into him. These days at the hospital, he was watching me every moment, probably afraid that I would commit suicide and not be able to atone for my sins. It didn't matter anymore. The day I was discharged, Jason Chin came to pick me up. Along the way, he was in a good mood, smiling, but the car wasn't heading towards the manor. It wasn't until we arrived at the airport that I saw Vivian throw herself into Jason Chen's arms, and I finally understood. Jason Chen, I missed you so much. After all these years, I finally remembered you. I was so afraid that you wouldn't want me when I came back. I didn't deliberately leave you and go abroad to get married 5 years ago. I just forgot everything. Jason Chen hugged Vivian, gently coaxing her. If it were before, seeing this scene would have broken my heart. But not now. After crying for a long time, Vivian finally calmed down. But when she saw me getting into the car, her face turned pale instantly. She staggered backwards, tears welling up in her eyes, but she smiled viciously at me where Jason Chin couldn't see. Jason Chin, why is she here? I don't want to see her. She's the one who caused me to lose my memory and caused us to be separated for so many years. I don't want to see H. I'm so scared. As soon as she finished speaking, Jason Chen's face turned cold instantly. The look in his eyes was full of disgust. Lynn, it's all your fault. You still won't apologize to Vivian even now? You're unrepentant. With that, he directly threw me and my luggage out of the car. He hugged Vivian and got into the car alone. Before leaving, he only said coldly, "Walk back and kneel at the front door before dark. Kneel until Vivian is happy and satisfied." You should have thought about the consequences when you caused Vivian to lose her memory. I pretended not to hear. I didn't take my luggage, and I didn't care about the pointing and whispering around me. My face pale, I walked step by step aimlessly. By the time it was completely dark, my cell phone in my pocket was ringing nonstop. I opened it and saw that it was calls and messages from Jason Chen. Lynn, it's so late. Why haven't you walked back yet? Do you want me to pick you up myself? As if you deserve it? You're not playing hard to get with me, are you? Or are you doing this on purpose because Vivian is back? Aren't you disgusted? Do you think I care? I walked to the river, sat down carefully, and put my blistered feet into the water. The burning and stinging sensation was instantly reduced a lot. I didn't plan to reply. I sat there until late at night, digging out the dusty pocket watch under the familiar tree. It was a gift from Jason Chen. I once joked, "If you ever let me down, I'll use this pocket watch to hypnotize myself and forget you forever." What did he say back then? Lynn, that day will never come. But that day had come, hadn't it? Fireflies gradually lit up around me, flying one by one beside me. Past memories were evoked again. I liked fireflies, but they were hard to catch. After Jason Chen found out, he secretly caught them for a week, not returning home every night. I didn't know why, so I had a big fight with him. He wasn't angry either. He took me to the hot springs resort he bought, and we waited until late at night, when countless fireflies lit up around us. I saw the dark circles under his eyes. I couldn't help but be teary-eyed and threw myself into his arms. Lynn, don't you like fireflies? The hot springs resort is warm, and the fireflies can survive even when the weather gets cold in the fall. Do you like it? Don't be angry, okay? I didn't mean to stay out all night. That year, I caught a firefly. I thought I had kept summer, but I forgot again. That day was already the beginning of autumn. Lynn, what are you doing here in the middle of the night instead of crawling back? Trying to find death? Jason Chen's voice suddenly rang out behind me. My body stiffened. Turning my head, I didn't see the gentle look in his eyes from before, and I felt a pang of disappointment. Then I smiled self-deprecatingly. He wasn't the same person anymore. Wasn't he? I should have known. Lynn, did I allow you to die? Didn't I tell you to kneel at the front door? What are you doing now? Why didn't you just jump down if you wanted to die so badly? Aren't you just waiting for me to come find you? Aren't you just trying to compete with Vivian now that she's back? Are you doing this for fun? Aren't you tired? Aren't you pathetic? Jason Chen stepped forward without saying another word and dragged me up. He didn't say another word along the way. I watched the fireflies outside the car recede, and the last trace of affection in my heart disappeared completely. Jason Chen, I want to forget the past. I don't want you either. When we arrived at the manor, I was forced to kneel at the front door. My knees hit the ground heavily, the sound so loud that even Jason Chen froze for a moment. Lynn, just kneel here. You can get up when Vivian is in a good mood and forgives you. I'm warning you, don't even think about bullying Vivian again. You owe her all of this. I nodded obediently, ignoring the momentary daze in his eyes. Until Vivian ran to the front door, smiling and planting a kiss on Jason Chen's lips. He finally came back to his senses, stroking Vivian's head dotingly. I had seen this scene before. At that time, I had just noticed something was wrong and caught them kissing at a bar/lounge. But Jason Chin didn't care. He even became impatient with my shouting. It was just a kiss for losing a game. We didn't actually sleep together. Can you stop making such a big deal out of it? Besides, I only treat Vivian like a sister. What's wrong with you? Until later, on my birthday. Because my friends persuaded me to drink a few more glasses of wine. In a daze, I saw them kissing passionately. Vivian, red-eyed, confessed her feelings. Jason Chin, I really like you. I just want to be by your side. I don't ask for too much. Please don't reject me, okay? Jason Chin was silent for a long time, then reached out and hugged her. How heartbroken I was then. That's how indifferent I am now. After all, I already knew that he loved her. Late at night, the lights on the second floor of the manor/manor went out. I huddled up and took out an old pocket watch from my arms. It was the birthday gift that Jason Chin casually gave me on that birthday. It came in handy now. Tick, tock, tick. The pocket watch was swaying in front of my eyes, and my vision gradually became blurred. Just as I was about to fall asleep, a surprised voice suddenly came from not far away. Lynn, what are you doing? What am I doing? I closed my eyes wearily, muttering to myself. Forget you, forget Jason Chin. For all eternity, I don't want to remember Jason Chin again. The next second, I fell into complete darkness. 5. I had a good sleep. The dreams were bizarre, and I wanted to grab something, but I couldn't reach it no matter how hard I tried. It wasn't until the third day that I finally woke up. A strange man was sitting by the bed, and he showed a hint of joy when he saw me wake up. But then, perhaps sensing the unfamiliar low okay in my eyes, his smile faltered. Lynn, what are you pretending? You're not going to tell me you don't remember me, are you? Can you stop using such a clumsy lie? Vivian has already found out that no hypnotist can hypnotize themselves. You don't have to pretend. I didn't speak, just watched him quietly. Wake up and go back to kneeling. You deliberately put on this show just to get attention? Are you satisfied now? Saying this, his face turned a little ugly, and then he met my unfamiliar gaze again. Is it fun, Lynn? Can you stop pretending? How come I never realized you were such a good actress? This is filming? Who are you? I was a little confused. I was stunned by the man's series of impatient questions. He froze in place, then, as if he had thought of something, his tone became even more impatient. Lynn, are you done playing games? I don't believe you're willing to forget me, Jason Chin. I shook my head, my eyes full of innocence. I thought about it again and again, but I couldn't remember where I had seen him before. I didn't even have the slightest feeling for this Jason Chin. Before I could say anything, the door was suddenly pushed open, and a teary-eyed woman ran in. Seeing that I was awake, her tears instantly fell down. Lynn, you're finally awake. You scared me to death. I know you don't like me, but why did you pretend to faint to scare me? I didn't do anything. Are you unhappy because I'm back? I can leave, I can go back to America, but please don't do this, okay? I'm not like you. I'm really afraid that something will happen to you because of me. I was dumbfounded. The woman threw herself at my bed and knelt in front of me. Jason Chen's eyes instantly darkened, and his face became more and more ugly. In the end, he almost gritted his teeth and said, Lynn, have you had enough? What did Vivian do wrong? You're the one who should apologize. What right do you have to make Vivian kneel to you? You deserve to die even if you're dead. Vivian is so kind. Why do you have to go against her again and again? Didn't I warn you not to bully Vivian? With that, Jason Chin directly smashed the glass of water in his hand. He picked up Vivian, who was kneeling on the ground and crying. Apologize. Huh? I was dumbfounded, staring blankly at Jason Chin. I reached out and tentatively touched Jason Chin and Vivian's foreheads. After finding that they didn't have a fever, I withdrew my hand. No. Do we know each other? Which hospital are you two patients from? Didn't the nurse take good care of you? You two rushed up to me as soon as I woke up, scolding, crying, and kneeling. What's the meaning of all this? Filming? How much is my pay? Where's the director? My series of questions stunned Jason Chin. He looked at me in disbelief. Vivian seized the opportunity to break free from his arms and ran to me. Lynn, stop pretending, okay? The doctor told me that you're fine. How could you suddenly forget us? As soon as she said this, Jason Chin finally came back to his senses. His face was still ugly. Lynn, what else do you have to say? The doctor said you're fine. Why are you still acting with me? Playing hard to get? Trying to escape responsibility? Trying to erase the past? I'm telling you, that's impossible. You can't make up for the 5 years that Vivian and I were separated. I looked around, finally confirming that it wasn't filming or a rehearsal, except for a slight stinging pain in my brain. I had almost no feeling for the two people in front of me. I'm sorry, but you may have mistaken me for someone else. My name is Lynn, but I've never met you before. You two started scolding me as soon as you came up. Shouldn't you apologize to me first? I don't seem to have done anything harmful or sorry to you, have I? Are you trying to scam me? Hearing this, Jason Chin completely exploded. He strode forward and slapped me without saying a word. Lynn, is it fun? How long are you going to pretend to escape responsibility? I was stunned for a moment. I pulled out the 4-needle, got out of bed, and slapped Jason Chin twice. Are you sick in the head? You said a bunch of nonsense as soon as I woke up. I've said it several times. I don't know you at all. Who do you think you are? Why are you hitting me? I reached out and slapped Vivian again. And you! All you do is cry, cry, cry. Are you crying at your parents' graves? I don't know you either. Why don't you go be a hypocrite at your parents' graves? Who's spoiling you? Me? Escape responsibility? Funny, who do you two think you are that I need to escape responsibility from? Are you illiterate? Then why don't you call the police? If I've committed a crime, let the police arrest me. I said in one breath. Vivian was so scared that she held back her tears. Especially with the last sentence, her eyes were full of panic, and she quickly hugged Jason Chen's arm. Jason Chen, why don't we just forget about it? I'm fine. Jason Chen's face was extremely gloomy. But at this moment, he didn't know what he was thinking, staring at me, seemingly trying to see something. Finally, he gritted his teeth and said angrily, Lynn, you better really have amnesia. 6. I checked myself out of the hospital and went back to my own home. Because I hadn't lived there for too long, it was full of dust. It took me an afternoon to clean it up completely. I glanced at the cell phone calendar and realized that my birthday was coming up. So I contacted a friend and decided to go out for a meal together on my birthday. On the third day, I left early and arrived at the agreed location. But at the dinner table, I saw Jason Chen and that Vivian. When Vivian saw me, she smiled. Lynn, I knew that you were just saying angry words and playing with me that day. You still remembered to invite us to your birthday. Jason Chen's face also looked much better, but his voice was a bit cold when he spoke. Don't think that this will make me forgive you. You must apologize to Vivian for what you did that day. You should have thought about the consequences when you started playing crazy. Lynn, I won't unconditionally tolerate you again and again. And where have you been these days? Haven't you caused enough trouble? You haven't even gone home? Are you waiting for me to personally coax you home? What are you dreaming about? Okay, drink this bottle of wine, and I'll pretend that day never happened. Jason Chin had a look of giving alms. Vivian nodded along with him, her eyes full of saying it was for my own good. I ignored them. I turned to look at my friend Zoe, who had contacted me. When she met my gaze, there was some emotion in her eyes, but she quickly became righteous again. Lynn, didn't you say that you have to invite Jason Chin every time you celebrate your birthday? I'm just helping you invite him. I heard from Vivian that you had a conflict a few days ago. It's your birthday, so let's all talk it out. I heard that you broke up Vivian and Jason Chin. Why don't we take this opportunity to get together and have you sincerely apologize to them? As soon as she finished speaking, Jason Chen's eyes showed some emotion, and his face looked much better. A trace of warmth also appeared in his cold eyes. I didn't speak, quietly looking at the huge cake in front of me. I looked at the people at the table with sarcasm. If I still couldn't see what was going on, I would have lived in vain. Zoe just wanted to watch the show, so she deliberately invited Vivian? I didn't have time to think too much. I grabbed the cream from the cake and threw it at Zoe. I only called you because I thought you were my friend. And you? You want me to apologize to others on my birthday? You have some nerve. Anyone who didn't know would think this was a charity you were running. I turned my head and smashed the cake at Jason Chen and Vivian. And you too! You really dare to come questioning me? As if you deserve to. If you harass me again, I'll call police. 7. After venting, I turned around and left. I wasn't in a good mood along the way, until I got to the front door and ran into my neighbor, Franklin. He was my college/university classmate, and he was the one who recommended that I buy this home after we graduated. Looking at it this year, the price has indeed gone up. It was a wise choice. We had contacted each other 3 days ago, and he helped me a lot with cleaning. What's wrong? Unhappy? I nodded, not wanting to speak. But Franklin magically took out a strawberry cake from behind him and handed it to me. Happy birthday! Make a wish! I was stunned, and when I met his loving gaze, I instinctively put my hands together. After blowing out the candles, I couldn't help but smile. Thank you for remembering my birthday. Franklin smiled and shook his head, shoving the cake into my hands. It's your birthday. Aren't you going to invite me to eat cake? Because of this, my relationship with Franklin became better and better. We always went to the supermarket together. Until this time, we ran into Jason Chin on the way back. He had been drinking and was walking unsteadily. Lynn, I've been sending you messages and calling you for so many days. Why haven't you replied? I frowned. There had been a number calling and texting me recently. The attitude wasn't good. After being isolated for a while, I don't know why, the attitude suddenly changed, saying something about picking me up and taking me home. I thought someone had sent it to the wrong number as a prank. Lynn, why haven't you gone home after so many days? Why are you shopping at the supermarket with another man? Are you doing this on purpose? Trying to make me jealous? I admit it. Lynn, your plan is really good. I was indeed unhappy seeing you two together. Can you come home with me? As he spoke, he reached out to hug me, but Franklin moved faster, pushing him away and standing in front of me. Jason Chen, your girlfriend Vivian is still waiting for you at home. You've mistaken me for someone else. That's right. I didn't mistake you for someone else. Jason Chen's voice suddenly rose sharply. He stared at me, a hint of grievance in his eyes. Lynn, Why don't you want to come back with me? Do you like this person? You clearly love me. We've been in love for so many years. How could you like someone else? My heart skipped a beat when he said that, and I didn't pay attention to the second half of his sentence. I instinctively looked at Franklin, my ears turning hot. In Jason Chen's eyes, it was indeed me acquiescing. Lynn! Impossible! You can't like someone else. You've only known him for a short time. How could you fall in love with someone else so quickly? I won't ask you to apologize, okay? I've thought about it. 5 years of repentance is enough. Vivian has a good personality. She will definitely forgive you. Let's just pretend nothing happened, okay? Hearing this, I felt a little dazed. I stared blankly at Jason Chen, and a fragment flashed through my mind. But it was too fast. I couldn't grasp it. I'm sorry, but I really don't know you. Jason Chen's body stiffened. He was about to refute me, but he met my serious eyes. Don't know me? How is that possible? Just a pocket watch. How could you really forge? At this point, he seemed to suddenly choke. He stared at my face in disbelief, looking again and again. Until he repeatedly confirmed my unfamiliar gaze, he finally couldn't help but stagger. You really forgot me? How is that possible? 8. After that day, I didn't see Jason Chin for a while. I don't know why, but I felt a lot more relaxed. My parents called to urge me to get married, but I didn't have a suitable candidate. So I hit it off with Franklin, who was also being urged to get married, and decided to get married. At least we knew each other well, and we weren't completely without feelings for each other. The date was set in a hurry, and we started taking wedding photos. Since the autumn weather was pretty good, we decided to take some outdoor taking wedding photos. Halfway through, we ran into Jason Chen. He had lost a lot of weight and didn't look well. When he saw me, a flash of surprise crossed his face, but it quickly turned dark when he saw my wedding dress. Lynn, what's this? Out taking landscape photos? Why didn't you ask me? I could have come with you. I shook my head, a smile on my lips. No, we're getting married soon. These are our taking wedding photos. He froze instantly. His expression was ugly, and his eyes were slightly teary-eyed. Getting married? How is that possible? Stop kidding me. How could you getting married to someone else? The person you love is clearly me. Aren't we just arguing and having a little fight? How could you getting married to someone else? Lynn, stop it, okay? After he said that, my expression turned sour. Franklin reached out and wrapped his arm around my waist, ignoring Jason Chen's murderous gaze. He placed a kiss on my forehead. Stop it, Jason Chen, Lynn and I are getting married soon. I nodded obediently, rubbing my temples wearily. I ignored Jason Chen and found a chair to sit down. Franklin knew what to do and immediately started massaging my legs. Lynn! I was startled. I opened my eyes and met Jason Chen's bloodshot eyes. You've just temporarily forgotten our feelings. You'll remember them one day. You can't getting married to someone else. You said you'd only getting married to me in this lifetime. How could you lie? Give me some more time, okay? I'll find a way to restore your memory. Let you remember all the good times we had. Don't getting married to someone else, okay? I was silent for a while. After waking up, I realized that some things didn't add up. At first, I was thinking about work, but I was told that my medical license had been revoked and even the patients I had cured had turned against me and were cursing at me. No matter where I went. Everyone who knew the hypnosis genius Lynn was cursing at me. Getting married while having amnesia was indeed irrational. But I know, Jason Chen said, a glimmer of light in his eyes. But my heart tells me that I don't have any feelings for you. Otherwise I wouldn't have treated you that way when I first woke up. You know that, don't you? I think, maybe I used to like you, but then, due to some situation, I completely lost hope in you, am I right? I just have amnesia, I'm not stupid. Getting married isn't child's play. I wouldn't getting married easily if I didn't have feelings and hadn't thought it through carefully. I wasn't kidding. These were even the results of my serious consideration. The only way for me to forget something willingly, without any brain damage, was through hypnosis. It could only mean that that memory was extremely painful, and I was willing to forget it. These words completely stunned Jason Chin. He stood there blankly, his eyes growing redder and redder. In the end, he broke down and covered his head. You have feelings for Franklin. How is that possible? Lynn, it's me. I'm Jason Chin. How could you have feelings for someone else? The person you like is clearly me. How could you not feel anything for me? 9. Jason Chin was around for the entire taking wedding photos. At first, he questioned and begged like crazy, but in the end, he calmed down and looked at me pitifully. Unfortunately, I remained unmoved. I even felt a little disgusted, especially since he had been waiting for me downstairs at my home for several days in a row. When I went to throw out the trash, he was waiting for me with flowers. Lynn, I know you've forgotten me, but you'll remember it sooner or later. Let me woo you again, okay? I refused. Then, I ran into him again in the evening when I went out to buy groceries. He desperately wiped away his tears, his voice with obvious sobs. Lynn, give me a chance, okay? Don't getting married yet, okay? Maybe you won't want to getting married after you remember. Don't give up on our relationship so easily, okay? For several days in a row, I was annoyed to no end. In the end, I stood in front of him, looking at him cry with a calm face, watching him recount our beautiful memories little by little. When his hand almost reached for me, I dodged it. What about Vivian? Why did she appear? If you loved me so much, how could Vivian have appeared between us? Did you cheat on me? I don't know which word stimulated him. Tears fell again. No, I don't like Vivian, I just treat her like my sister, we've always been innocent, there's nothing between us. 5 years ago, because of your hypnosis mistake, she forgot all her memories, that's why I was more tolerant of her, I just wanted to compensate her. I couldn't help but laugh. Jason Chin, you're so funny. What's my level? In my entire life, even during my student days, I've never made such a major mistake. You didn't believe me when I said I didn't recognize you at first, but why were you so sure that Vivian didn't recognize you from the start? Favoritism? I've done this kind of hypnosis at least hundreds, if not thousands of times. I'm very confident in myself. I would never make such a mistake. My medical license, you wouldn't have been the one who did it, would you? Jason Chin was silent, standing there without saying a word. My eyes were full of sarcasm. Since he was the one who did it, then it all made sense. Because of a fake mistake, I've been carrying the blame for so long? How ridiculous. Didn't you say we were in love? Why didn't you believe me back then? Jason Chin, you're really quite laughable. 10. Jason Chin acted quickly. Because my words that day had already aroused suspicion, and he caught Vivian in bed with a strange man late one night when he got home. It wasn't until his assistant found out everything from back then that he finally woke up. Vivian's departure back then was a prank. One was to see how deep Jason Chin loved her. The other was that she was messing around with other men outside and got pregnant, with a child that couldn't be aborted, so she had to choose to leave accidentally. All the way until she gave birth to the child. She was greedy for life abroad and men and didn't want to return home. A few months ago, when her money ran out, she contacted Jason Chin again, pretending to have recovered her memory and returned home. What a ridiculous and clumsy lie. But Jason Chen couldn't see through it. When I learned about this from Franklin, I just found it funny and didn't care much. Even if it was all a misunderstanding. Jason Chen and I could never go back to the past. He contacted me, apologized and confessed to me many times, and even knelt down in front of me. Lynn, please don't leave me, okay? I really didn't know Vivian did so much. I didn't mean to treat you that way on purpose. I love you. The person I love has always been you, Lynn. Don't getting married to someone else, okay? I really don't want to leave you. I'll find a way to restore your memory. I ignored him. From that day on, I refused to meet him and refused to communicate with him. On the day of the wedding, guests filled. My parents were very happy, and they were even moved to tears when they saw that I was no longer pestering Jason Chen. Everything went smoothly. Until after the wedding rings were exchanged, someone suddenly ran in from outside. It was Jason Chen's secretary. Lynn, please go and see Mr. Chen. He's going to jump off a building because you're getting married to someone else. When I arrived on the 18th floor, Jason Chen was sitting on the edge of the roof. Looking at me, he was still smiling. Lynn, give me another chance, okay? We shouldn't be separated because of a Vivian. We were about to getting married. You're my wife. I didn't speak, just watched him cry. I rubbed my temples wearily, feeling exhausted. I sighed. Jason Chen, you know very well. ID. Aunt, no. Jason Chen interrupted me, his face covered in tears. There was a bitterness and pleading in his eyes that I couldn't understand. Lynn, I really love you so much. I really can't live without you. Don't getting married to someone else, okay? I'll be good to you in the future. There won't be any other Vivian between us. I've already sent her away. I only found out then. On the day he found out the truth, he sent Vivian out of the country. He sent her to that abusive man who ran away with his wife and child. In addition to being penniless, Vivian was having a hard time now. Not only was she forced to take on the responsibility of selling herself, but she was also being abused by both the adult and the child. I didn't sympathize with any of this. After all, her joke almost ruined me. It's impossible, Jason Chen. Even if I remember everything, you know that there's no longer any possibility between us, right? Jason Chen cried even harder. Holding his head, he was on the verge of collapse. No, no. Lynn, you love me. You'll forgive me. I want you to remember. Lynn, even if I die, I want you to remember me. I'm betting my death will make you remember me and love me again. After saying that, Jason Chen looked at me. Without hesitation, he jumped down. I stared blankly at his disappearing figure, feeling a sharp pain in my head. Finally, I couldn't hold it in and fainted. 11. When I woke up again, my parents and Franklin were all around me. Looking at Franklin's worried gaze, I smiled and shook my head. Jason Chen walked in at this time. He hadn't died, there was an air cushion underneath, he just had some fractures. He was very happy to see me awake. Lynn, you remembered, didn't you? I'm Jason Chen. We're about to getting married. I've already sent Vivian away. From now on, there won't be anyone else between us. Lynn, I knew you couldn't bear to let me die. You must have been stimulated to remember. I nodded. Franklin's body stiffened slightly, but he still didn't let go of my hand. Jason Chen, you're disappointed. I didn't remember, and I don't love you anymore. I went to the roof not to save you. The police needed me to cooperate. Don't think too highly of yourself. I said, even if I recover my memory, I will never fall in love with someone like you again. The more I spoke, the paler his face became. In the end, he almost collapsed and fell to the ground with a thud. But I didn't look at him anymore. I was happily drinking chicken soup and discussing our honeymoon with Franklin. Lynn, is there really no possibility between us? What if you remember? What if you regret it? I shook my head. I said seriously, no. Jason Chen, I will never remember again, and I will never regret it. Hearing this, Jason Chen seemed to have suffered some kind of blow. He gave a bitter smile, turned around, and staggered away. Before leaving, he left a sentence, Lynn, I'm sorry. I just smiled. I didn't take it to heart. Franklin and I have a long future ahead of us.